Hey and welcome back everyone. My name is Guilford, welcome back to the Academy of Witchwood. Behind me in the background you can see two ginormous trees, which we planted last episode. And these trees are going to be the main focus of today. Because we do have a few spawners hidden in these trees. I found 2 in each one so far, but there might be more. And what I want to do is, would you please not... Always these interruptions. I want to go ahead and actually get rid of the leaf balls around these spawners, and I want to go ahead and build some golden cages like you might know from Sword Art Online or something like that. So that we have the spawner within a golden cage. The spawner spawns, we will teleport the mobs somewhere else and, well, grind them down into experience. To do that, we need 3 resources in larger quantities. The first is amethyst. Why amethyst? Well, pretty easy, because we need a lot of tinted glass. As I want to make the cages in a nice form, it needs to be, or the spawner needs to be surrounded by tinted glass, because I don't think that we can make spawners ignore the light conditions too easily. Let me take a look. We will definitely need nether stars to ignore players. Oh no, we just need soul lanterns to ignore light. This actually is totally doable, so let's forget about the tinted glass. I would like to have amethyst either way, but that's another topic. The second resource is gold. I don't have that much gold to build giant golden cages at this moment. And the third is zinc, because I want to use a bunch of copycat panels and vertical steps and stuff like that, like with these greenhouses. So, amethyst, gold and zinc. To find amethyst, we can use a dowsing rod from Ars Nouveau. We can use it to grant magic find, which will show us amethyst through blocks. So we should be able to find a geode like this pretty easily. Now, in this pack, we not only have normal geodes, but also so-called geores. So for every ore there exists, we can actually get ourselves a dowsing rod. For example, for the gold one, we can make one with a dowsing rod and 4 gold. For the zinc one, we need zinc ingots, and so on and so forth. Not an issue, and we will be able to find geores like that. For the gold one, I actually don't even need to use a scrying element, because I know exactly where one is. If I just walk over here, where somewhere the entrance to the mine is, there is a gold geore right around here. And the thing is, as we have Ars Nouveau, maybe you can remember that I crafted a few more of the tablets of awakening when we got our bookworms. And the reason for that is simple. If I place a tablet, a ritual brazier here, and use a tablet of awakening, it will after a second, awaken one of the budding amethysts and create a G-Ore golem. That gives me a gold G-Ore golem charm, which I can use to summon this little guy again wherever I need to. Now I just need a block of gold G-Ore. Or let's take maybe 3. That should be more than enough. And I'm going to take my brazier. And I can do the very same thing with a zinc G-Ore and an amethyst and get myself golem charms. So let me go ahead, let me collect these G-Ores and amethyst golem shards, and I'll be right back and show you what we can do with that. This, by the way, is what it looks like if you find something with Magic Find. So up there should be an amethyst geode. So let me quickly build up there and we'll take a look. And again, the ritual of awakening to get myself a little new buddy. And there we got a G-Ore golem. And a charm. And the last one for the zinc G-Ore. And there we have our G-Ore golem. Very nice. Seemingly, in our enchanted forest, enchanted creatures or twilight creatures are spawning. This is actually quite cool. Hi sheep, how are you doing? While the sun is going down, I went ahead and placed the gold, zinc and amethyst blocks here on the tree so that we just have a little nicer way of looking at them. And now I can go ahead and just right click the golem charms on these storage drawers here, and they will search for the corresponding blocks in the vicinity. And well, if they can make it out of the tree. Yeah, they can. Great. They will just go over there and they will do a little dance. Maybe. Soon. Come on, guys. I know you can do it. It seems like there was one step missing from my elements, which was to set the home of the golems with the Dominion wand. And you can see the first quartz zinc ore as well as the first amethyst have been transformed, and they have begun to, well, produce the corresponding clusters. Or they will in just a second. The golem takes care of everything in a 10 block radius around its home, which is the draw in this case. So also the gold one should be able to reach this without any problems. Now these blocks, the budding blocks, will start to create clusters of the corresponding kind. The golems will speed up the generation of these clusters as well as the growth, and they will also harvest the clusters and put the results in these drawers. So nothing for me left to do in this case these 3 will just provide me with all the gold, amethyst and zinc I will ever need. It just might take a moment until it really gets going. After a little bit of waiting, I now have over, 5 stacks of gold, which should be a good place to start. So let's get up this tree real quick and I'll show you what I want to do. So if we take our leap spell and quickly scale this tree, this here is the one the one spawner that I half deleted last time by accident. The first thing I want to do is to use a redstone comparator on the spawner, and we get 2 achievements, adding a switch and just a few tweaks. So from now on, you can see the little spider in the spawner is no longer spinning around. This spawner is now redstone activated. So without a redstone signal, it will not do anything. I'm going to do this with all the spawners we have. I actually found a 5th one, but yeah, there were 2 creepers in that and it just blew itself up. It's a pity, but that's how it is. So I'm going to dismantle this whole sphere here, which shouldn't take too long. And then I'm going to sketch out how the cages around these spawners should look like. With Apotheosis, we can actually hold control on a spawner, and you can see on the top how big the spawn count is, how many entities at max can exist within the range of the spawner, and one other thing is how big the spawn range is. So we can increase or decrease the spawn range, and that allows us to build reasonable sized cages for the spawners without anything falling out too easily. So I'm going to get rid of this ball. I'm going to grab a few materials and I'm going to start building out our first cage. I'll see you in just a second. And as you can see, I very much overestimated how much gold I do have at my disposal, and it wasn't enough by far. And now I have a spider friend here who doesn't like me. Oh well. So I will need to collect a lot more blocks of gold to actually fill up these copycat beams. But hey, that also means I have something to do with all the gold I will get in the future. And I do not like to produce things in horrendous amounts without having any need to. So this is something I can do with that. Let me quickly get rid of that spider. What we now have is a monster spawner here. I will reduce the spawn range to 3 blocks, so nothing should be able to spawn on this outer ring here, but only fall right down between these source stones. And those are not there by accident. I'm going to create a source portal directly underneath these spawners, so everything that spawns will drop into a portal and being ported wherever I want them. To do that, it's actually really easy. Let me quickly go down and fetch myself a warp scroll. I do have a warp scroll left here, which is great. And let's say I want everything that drops into the portal to end up in the middle of this tree here. So let me actually dig in here. This will be my killing chamber. And I can just shift and right click the warp scroll here, record my location, you go die. And the other thing I need is a source full of mana, which I do have on me. And with that I can just go ahead, place down my source jar, toss in my warp scroll, and you can see, thinking with wrong game, create a warp portal. This warp portal by itself has not really a texture, just some particles, which can look quite nice. You can also go ahead, take your Dominion wand and just right click the portal to change the visuals. So it is really there. It takes 90% of a source jar to open the portal, but after it's opened, you don't need any source anymore. And now, whenever something spawns in here, drops down into the portal, it will get ported into the other tree. So let me get a few things together so that we can take a look if this really works, and I'll be right back. We got a few clocks, a bit of sugar, fermented spider eyes, a soul lantern, as well as a piston and a nether quartz. So if I hold control, you can see the maximum spawn delay is currently at 800. If I right click with the clocks, it goes down by 20 each. 640 is still a bit, but I don't have any more clocks. I'm missing gold right now. The minimum spawn delay as well I can reduce by 10 with each sugar. I will bring down the minimum and the maximum spawn delay to 20 in the future. Currently it's, well, not too short. With fermented spider eyes I can increase the spawn count, so 16 is the max size a spawner has, and with the soul lantern I can ignore light. If you want to reverse anything or put it into the negative, you can use a piston and some nether quartz, so using those two together I can reduce the spawn range by 2. So now the spawn range is only 2. So if I use a lever on this now, you can see a bunch of spiders dropping into the portal. Or not dropping because they spawned on top of the spawner, which will not happen in the future. Currently it takes a few more seconds for those to spawn because I need more sugar and more clocks, but up to 16 spiders can now spawn at once. Let me see if I can disable the spawner again, and if everything works correctly, now in this tree down here we should have a bunch of little little spiders. And they're pouring out. Haha, all the spiders. And a creeper. I really don't like creepers here. But as you can see, the spawner did exactly what I wanted it to do. In the future, I will not have swarm spiders in this cage, because swarm spiders don't really bring a lot of EXP, nor are they really useful. So what I need to do is to get a mob egg of whatever mob I want to spawn there. And for that there's an enchantment called Capturing, and I do have a golden sword which has Capturing 2, which is not the highest, but hey, at least it's something. And killing any mob with this sword will give me the chance of, well, dropping an egg of that mob. So let me know down in the comments which mobs I should try to get. I do have 4 spawners in total. I will have a few more of these cages hanging up in the trees. What do you think should be spawning here? What should I farm? Leave your comments down in the comments. Yeah, write a comment down below. That's exactly what I wanted to say. And I'm going to continue to farm some gold to, well, at least fill up this first golden cage, which is not too golden just yet. So, I'm going to get myself some mob eggs. I'm going to get myself some gold. And while I was doing that, I also reached the next level of Ascent. So I get even more experience and more luck. I can now get flawless purity gems, which is cool. And monsters now have +5 armor pierce. So my armor is pretty much only as good as leather armor normally. If I want to go to the summit, which is the next level, I need to get myself a pair of rare boots, which shouldn't be that hard, but I also need to slay a wither. Which is, by the way, also the next thing I want to do for the spawner, because with the nether star, I can set the spawner to ignore if a player is nearby. That means, with a nether star, this really is redstone controlled only. Doesn't matter if I'm there or not, which is really important if I want to farm continuously for my EXP. Or just stand down in the other tree and farm the mobs that are spawning. So I need to get some wither skeletons, wither skeleton heads. I need to farm some skeletons. So I will do this in the off time while I'm waiting for the gold. But for now, I think this is enough for one episode. Thank you very much for watching. Like I said, leave a comment what mobs I should farm and if you like the idea of these cages. And other than that, I'll see you soon. Have a nice day, have a great evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.